We've kind of very strongly moving along a new track of initiating the Kundalini, but not like a bright light through the brain and blowing people's heads off. It's much more of a strong, stable type thing where we're working with the different organs and allowing them to connect to the vertebrae and through the nervous system and work through the brain and connect to the higher self. And there's a different reality to each organ. We are kind of moving into this sphere of where you move through kind of slightly different realities with each organ. They have a different hue, they have a different quality, they have transcendental natures, each one, and they hold kind of 24 organs we kind of work with, or 24 vertebrae, like 1/24 of our reality. And that has come in fairly strongly and fairly quickly. And one of the things that we're encountering is that the spine and muscles relate to the breath in a different way to the organs. They're in two different domains, and to the main part, the muscles and bones and spine are the somatic system. We kind of move them and do them and, you know, dance, run, do stuff, whatever we're going to do, we do it. Whereas the organs, the heart, the organs, the brain, you know, they do themselves, and to the main part, they're unconscious. And so in a way, we're bringing what was unconscious to consciousness. And one thing I was told was that Steiner had said this is the next part of our evolution, bringing the organs to consciousness and the, what's it called, whatever nervous system that is. I get dyslexic and I forget the names. It's somatic one's the one you move, and the autonomic nervous system, bringing the autonomic nervous system to awareness. And if you ponder on that, or even think about it, I keep on saying these strange words when I'm teaching. If you ponder, that really sounds like someone else. If you ponder on that, you know, maybe irritable bowel syndrome, something wrong with your liver, something wrong with your pancreas. We know they don't feel very good, but we don't have a conscious access to them in the same way as we would a muscle or a bone. There's a different quality there. So as we're bringing these areas to consciousness, we're clearing that area of our karma. And there, for me, is the possibility of a jump in health, where we're healthy in a new way, where things that we can't properly get at and understand because we can't feel them or be aware of them, they come to consciousness. It's a different type of consciousness to feeling your muscles. It's more of the qualities and karma of the organs. And as you clear that, diseases or karma or whatever releases. And to become aware of the organs, you have to become aware of the brain. And that's what we do in holographic breathing. Before we drop into the organs, we become aware of the brain and the energies moving through the brain. And that is the same circuit. You've got the organs in the brain, the organs in the chest, the organs in the abdomen, and they all relate to each other. The same way as the bones in the pelvis, the spine, the cranium and face, they all relate to each other, and the muscles all relate to each other. And they're two different circuits, and certainly the organs in the abdomen are a lot to do with the vagus nerve. They are also the somatic nervous system. I don't know about the somatic nervous system. They connect into the spine as well, but they're also fed by the vagus nerve. So this clears the vagus nerve, it clears the nervous system, and it is a case of just bringing these organs to life in a new way. And in that journey, we connect the organs through the brain, also through the tongue. And another way of connecting to the organs is through the rectum. We work with 6 different energy channels in holographic breathing, and different areas of the rectum relate to each one of those channels. And the same thing in the sacrum, which the rectum sits into the sacrum. Different areas of the sacrum relate to those different channels and those different organs, and they are together, and they are part of the different realities. You've got the somatic nervous system in the sacrum. You've got the autonomic nervous system in the rectum. But because they lie into each other, there can be an interface between these two parts of us, and that releases the Kundalini. There's a strong, traditionally, the Kundalini rises from the sacrum. But for me, even more so, the Kundalini rises from the rectum. It's kind of pretty well instant. You become aware of the rectum, and this bright light starts rising up through the body, through the face, through the head, through all of the organs. And it takes a different trajectory from the sacrum, in that the sacrum, it more moves up through the bones and through the bones of the cranium. The rectum, the energies rise more centrally through the body and through the organs and through the central brain complex in the center of the brain, and then both of them connect to the higher self. So they're two different circuits, and both house the Kundalini, and both house the connection to all of the organs and all of the circuits. And when we bring those two together, then it also becomes much more possible, or we get the ability to connect the organs energetically with the spine. Each organ relates energetically to a vertebrae. This is different to the nerves, where different nerves go to the different organs relate to the spine. Now, this isn't a small journey. This is we're going to be working with this over the next year, where we work individually with the different organs, different areas of the spine, the sacrum, the rectum, the brain, and the Kundalini. And we can't go into that in depth in this webinar. It's a free webinar. We're going to be spending a lot of time learning holographic breathing for the new people, and then we're going to drop into it. But we can get the Kundalini in the rectum working, the Kundalini in the sacrum working, and those two organs coming together, or those, they're not organ, one's an organ, the other isn't, those two domains coming together. And there is a fast Kundalini. It's an instant, for me there's an instant rush through the brain and head as soon as I become in contact with either of those. But there's also a slow motion where it's slowly, with the rectum, will clear the rectum. Then it will clear the colon. Then it will clear through the small intestines. It will clear through the liver, the pancreas, the gallbladder. It will slowly work through all of the organs in a much slower way. And in a way, each time it comes to a new organ, you hit the karma of that, and probably upset comes up. And you have to, after I say, aha, it's that upset to do with that quality, to do with that organ, and to be with the awareness of that organ. And then when you can drop into that, that organ starts clearing. And there's a direct connection between the clearing of the organs and the clearing of the brain. You can't clear the organs without clearing the brain. You can't clear the brain without clearing the organs. So they happen in tandem. And you have to be able to understand how to process working with the intellect is different to working with the bones, the organs, the lower areas of the body. It's a different feel, and it's kind of letting go of the mind, letting go of the intellectual process, letting go of the intellectual patterns. And quite often within the New Age arena, you will hear, oh, don't get the energy in the head. Stay away from the head. You want the energy in the heart. For me, we're always getting the energy going through the head in holographic breathing. That's what we do in spades here. We get the energies going through the head and up to the higher self. For me, to get a decent channel, to get a decent communication with the higher self, you have to address the intellect. You have to be able to let go of the intellect. You have to let those old patterns, those old matrices through the brain release. And as the Kundalini travels through the brain, that's what happens. Rather than traveling through the matrices that we've set up there through lifetime upon lifetime, the Kundalini travels through it naturally and negates those patterns. It takes different routes to those patterns, and we become more of a viewer of what we considered to be ourself unwinding. And as that unwinds, and as you let go of that patterns, then your whole karma starts unwinding. And all of these physical diseases, emotional upsets, kind of life patterns that just seem to go around and around, and we seem to have trouble taking responsibility for them. Look what God's doing to me, or these people doing to me. But then when you let the karma release, the identity unfold on that level, then these things miraculously start getting better. But it's quite scary. It feels like this is going to kill you. And it is. At a certain point, you're trying to make yourself better and make this better and set up everything better and heal this and heal that. And in the end, you come to the realization that the problem is yourself. The person who's in the way is you. And it becomes more of a journey rather than making yourself better. It becomes more of a journey of dismantling yourself on all levels, just taking yourself apart. So you start off in one direction, and then you end up at a certain level going back and just undoing everything. So that is kind of what we're working with now. We've moved into that phase with the advanced webinars. If you're not coming to those, I can really highly recommend it. It's a journey we will be starting for the next year. Next Sunday we're working with the pancreas. Not the pancreas, we're working with the liver. This will be a strong webinar. It's part of a 5 webinar series where we work with the pancreas, the liver, the gallbladder and duodenum, and how that relates to different areas, the rectum, the sacrum, different vertebrae, the brain, and the different qualities of each organ. But today we're going to go in a much more general way and just get a gentle feel for that, and I'm going to teach holographic breathing. So for the new people, pay attention for this bit. This is the most important bit. It's the learning of holographic breathing. If this is all you do tonight, is learn the holographic breathing, that is more than enough. It may seem a bit complicated, just to, holographic breathing, there's a depth to it and it takes a while to settle into it, but then once it's going and you understand it, then you can do all sorts of things with it. But on your first journey into it, it's important just to really sit into it and relax and enjoy it, rather than thinking, oh, I've got to do what Martin says. You've got to do what I say in the learning of it, but after that, as we're using it in a meditation, if you just lie around doing holographic breathing, that's plenty enough. Don't stress yourself by taking on too much. Holographic breathing. The lips are relaxed and closed. The upper surface of the tongue is on the roof of the mouth. The breath is through the nose. On the in-breath, the jaw is gently opening, and the out-breath, the jaw is gently closing. Now, the bit with the jaw is counterproductive. Counterintuitive. People kind of want to do it the other way around, so it's a little bit hard to do it. So for that part, it's probably best to wait for the meditation when I'll talk you into it in a sequence that gets it starting naturally and easily. But for now, you can have your tongue on the roof of the mouth. So it's the upper surface of the tongue on the roof of the mouth, and as much as feels comfortable. The tip of the tongue is close to or touching the front teeth. The breath is through the nose, and that stays so through the whole meditation. Even though you're opening and closing the jaw, the movement of the jaw happens with the lips closed and the tongue on the roof of the mouth. There's a small motion of the jaw. I'm going to demonstrate it so you can see You probably won't even see it, which is okay, because at least you'll realize it is a very subtle motion. But it starts as an exercise, then it integrates into the muscles of the breath, and then it just becomes natural. It's like letting go of something or remembering something rather than learning something. And I'll just demonstrate for a few breaths so you can see. Once I start, it becomes very hard to stop, because there's a very kind of shamanistic or transcendental quality to holographic breathing. Our breath is normally through the body, but once you start holographic breathing, that gentle motion of the jaw spreads through the whole face, through the cranium, through the brain, and the brain starts breathing in a way that it doesn't do with our normal breath, and then that spreads through the whole body, and you get this access to a totally new breath. But it starts adjusting the structures of the face, the structures of the cranium, the brain starts coming to life. When I first started doing holographic breathing, it was amazing to me, because suddenly I was feeling my brain in the same way as you would feel your hand. Very true for what we're working with tonight, the autonomic nervous system coming to life and being able to sense it. And because I had Lyme disease, neurological Lyme disease, it became very handy for healing myself of Lyme disease. And that works for the face and head, and then down through the body, down through the spine, through the organs, and out through the body. What we're also going to be working with is what that movement connects to in the hands and feet. We're going to be doing a gentle motion with the hands and feet, which all connect together. This works through the muscles and bones of the breath, which are activating, which are causing the lungs to breathe. There's this, muscles are tightening, moving the ribs, the diaphragm is tightening, dropping the diaphragm. It's creating this in-breath. The muscles and bones are doing the movement of the breath, and that's drawing the air in, letting the breath come out. The organs don't so much do that. They have their own intrinsic muscles within the cells which move them, but it's a different quality. But that movement with the hands and feet are orchestrating that breath that we're going to be working with through the sacrum and spine. So we'll work with that for a bit. The movement, the hands and feet, it's a bit like the diaphragm. That's breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in. The same with the hands. Breathing in, and slightly cup a bit on the out breath. Breathing in, breathing out. So we'll start with the feet, and it will flap the feet to start off with. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. And it will connect through the whole body to the muscles working the jaw, in the same way as the hands will connect through the body and connect to this whole movement of the face, cranium, and jaw. And once that is happening for a bit, we will connect to the heel as well. So rather than it breathing in, breathing out, it will be both. The muscles are pulling the feet up at the front and also pulling the heel up at the back, and what you get is the foot stays level, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, and then from the heel of the foot, the heel of the hand, that will connect into the back of the body, the spine, the sacrum, and also this Deep Earth Energy series that we're starting next Sunday, that is to do with these energies at the back and the heels and different energy points, and part of the sacrum, part of the rectum, part of the brain. But we're not going to go into that in detail, but we are going to connect to the deeper, darker energies at the back. So I'm not going to go into that in detail because pretty well everybody here has already done that. But be aware that this movement of the hands and feet, to a certain extent the movement of the jaw, this is connecting to the intrinsic breathing motion of the whole body, not just of the ribs, the diaphragm, but every muscle in the body, how every muscle in the body moves to create a breath. And you'll feel a new breath starting when this movement of the jaw becomes natural. You'll feel a new breath starting. You'll feel an energy moving. You'll feel your spine starting to melt, and you'll feel this moving motion through the whole body. You'll feel a more physical and stronger breath in the same orbit happening when we work with the hands and feet. And we'll work with that to start off with, and we'll get the skeleton, the muscles of the whole body breathing, and breathing the lungs, and breathing the abdomen, and breathing the cranium. But then at a certain point we will move the awareness into the brain. And you'll notice when you do that, the movement of the hands and feet and the movement of the jaw become much more subtle, because they are not so much to do with that circuit. We've moved into the organs which have a different breath, so it becomes a much more subtle motion, the hands, feet, of the jaw, as we start working with the organs, which the brain is an organ or organs. And each organ is full of cells, and each cell has its own skeleton, its own muscles. They all breathe, or at least in holographic breathing they do, but it's different to this big strong movement through the bones and muscles. You'll feel the difference, and then once we're aware of the brain, then we can drop down through the organs, connect the rectum. As soon as you connect the rectum, you'll feel this Kundalini, you'll feel the rising energies, and then we'll work back and forth between the rectum and sacrum. So we start getting this communication between those two different areas of us, between the autonomic nervous system and the somatic nervous system, and not just that, through the unconscious workings of our body and the conscious workings of our body. So I hope that sounds nice, applicable. I was going to say, I keep saying words that I just never use. Anyway, I hope that seems good to people. And for the new people, do this sitting up. The actual learning of holographic breathing, do it sitting up. As soon as it's going and we're starting working with the hands and feet, you can lie down then, but very soporific. Holographic breathing will knock people out, will send them to sleep. Many people come to these webinars just to get a decent kip. My voice sends people to sleep, the channels send people to sleep. When people contact the energies within themselves and the energies within the brain, there's a huge unconsciousness there. It is unconscious norms. So when you move into that, there is an unconsciousness. People just pass out. They blame it on me, but it's not me. I put a link to my website in the chat to the webinar page, which for next Sunday, if anyone wants to come to that. But you can click on that. You can go to the last page. There's the recordings of the free webinars there, so lots of those. And if you're cranial therapy, if you want to learn cranial sacral therapy and do it yourself, just do holographic breathing. Go and do those 9 webinar recordings on the back of my website, and they'll give you a whole vision of the cranial sea in a whole new way, to how I was taught it. I don't know how it's taught now, but to how I was taught it some 30 years ago. Right, we're going to start. Holographic breathing is like doing your own cranial sacral therapy. The movement that opens up in holographic breathing is the same as what opens in cranial sacral therapy, but in holographic breathing it's moving with the breath. All right, so we will start. If you're new, it's good to be sitting up. And it's for the new people, it's not connective breath work. There's a space and there's no particular speed or depth. It's whatever feels good. So closing your eyes, and we're going to bring in some resources. Sending a smile, sending some energies to the earth. And allow the earth to say hello back. And notice how that feels through your body and through your energies. Starting a communication with the earth, sending some energy, sending a smile to the earth and letting the earth say hello back, allowing the earth to communicate back to you, the depth of that beautiful, mothering, healing energy of the earth. Allow that in. Our birthright is there every minute of every day. It's up to us to choose whether we want to connect to those energies or not. So allowing yourself to connect with the earth. And then sending a smile, sending some energy to the higher self and the beneficial energies. The beneficial energies, any divine beings, divine energies, the higher self, divine teachers, as long as it's beneficial. And allowing the higher self and the beneficial energies to say hello back. And notice what that feels like through your body and through your energies. Allowing the energies of the earth to heal through you. Allow the energies of the higher self, the divine realms, to heal through you. And breathe. And asking the earth, the higher self and the beneficial energies to be with you through the whole webinar as your resource, as your healing presence. And breathe. So we're going to start with the holographic breathing. So the lips are relaxed and closed, the upper surface of the tongue on the roof of the mouth. So as much as the tongue on the roof of the mouth as feels comfortable, maybe half an inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch, maybe a whole inch. Doesn't matter how much is on, but it must feel comfortable. Don't over-stress that. As much as feels comfortable. The tip of the tongue is close to or touching the front teeth. And breathe. Breathing through the nose. So the tongue on the roof of the mouth, the lips are closed, the breath is through the nose. And keeping the tongue on the roof of the mouth, keeping the lips closed, just slowly starting moving the jaw up and down, but just small motions, a bit like chewing. Every day we eat, we keep the mouth closed and we move the jaw. So just bouncing the jaw up and down for a bit, just to get the experience that you can move your jaw and you can keep the lips closed and the tongue on the roof mouth. Small motion, half a finger width, small motion of the jaw. And slow that down so it's a nice slow motion of the jaw. And when you feel ready, we're going to align that with the breath as the jaw is opening. Let the breath come in through the nose. And as the jaw is closing, letting the breath come out through the nose. So we're going to do this in a very physical way to start off with, just to start it. As the jaw is relaxing open, this draws the breath in through the nose. As the jaw is relaxing closed, that expels the breath through the nose. Notice how it feels like a little bellows, that the jaw is orchestrating the breath. The jaw relaxes open, the breath comes in. As the jaw relaxes closed, the breath comes out through the nose. And as you're breathing out and the teeth are coming together, they just float together. There's no pressure. You don't grind your teeth, you just let them float together, or they can be very slightly separate. The jaw is open, brings the breath in. Jaw is closing, the breath releases out. This will start releasing through the spine. Let the back of your neck relax. Let the back of your head relax. Now we're going to change the gestalt of that. We're going to bring it into a much lighter domain. Rather than having the emphasis on the jaw, have the emphasis on the breath coming in through the nose. So as you're breathing in through the nose, the jaw relaxes open. As you breathe out through the nose, the jaw relaxes closed. Breathing in through the nose, the jaw relaxes open. Breathing out through the nose, the jaw relaxes closed. Notice how everything gets much more relaxed, much softer. The jaw is of the muscles and bones. The breath through the nose is of the lungs and organs. Two different energies. Notice how much softer it's got. So you start breathing through the nose. Start the awareness on the nose. Breathing in, the jaw relaxes open. Breathing out, the jaw relaxes closed. Notice how the muscles of the breath are orchestrating this movement of the jaw as the lungs are opening, as the chest is opening, automatically the jaw follows. The jaw relaxes open. The chest closes, the lungs close, the jaw automatically relaxes closed. There's a lot going on in people's necks. Let your neck relax. Let that movement, let that energy go through your neck. Have the neck relaxed. Maybe drop the chin just slightly so that the neck is a bit straighter. And dropping down to the abdomen. The abdomen is opening, the jaw relaxes open. The abdomen is closing, the jaw relaxes closed. And breathe. Notice how this breathing motion starts traveling through your whole body. You can feel it in the pelvis. As you breathe in, the pelvis opening up to the sides. As you breathe out, the pelvis closing medially back towards the middle. You can feel it through the arms and legs, every cell breathing in on the in-breath, every cell breathing out on the out-breath. And notice in a very subtle way the whole face, the cranium, the brain has started to breathe in a very subtle way. The neck, the throat has started to breathe. This breathing action has started to move and integrate through the whole body. And as that happens, as it integrates through the neck, the face, the cranium, the brain, notice how you get a connection to the divine energies, the beyond, the higher self. You are no longer alone. You are part of something much bigger. And breathe gently. Notice how it connects you to the earth and the energies of the earth. It's integrated. It's a breath that's integrated with the higher self, the divine realms. It's integrated with the earth. It's integrated with all of our systems and organs and nervous system, muscles and bones. It brings a consistency. It is meant to be. We are designed to breathe like this. So a memory comes to life. It is more of an activation than a learning. Gently breathing with holographic breathing, and allow the energies to move. Allow the connection to the earth. Allow the connection to the divine realms, the divine teachers. There's a wealth of information there, freely available. All we have to do is allow it. We will heal. We will transcend. We will become anew. And breathe. So we're going to start with the movement of the hands and feet. So we'll start with the feet and we'll just start flapping them. On the in-breath, the toes are pulling up and the foot's flapping up. Breathing out, the foot is flapping down. Notice how the front of the leg is tightening to pull it up. The front of the leg is relaxing for the feet to relax back down. Notice how this connects right up through your abdomen, through your chest, to the breathing motion of the jaw, face and cranium. It all connects from the bottom of the feet to the top of the head. Breathing in, pulls up. Breathing out, relaxes down. For the new people, if you want to lie down at this point, it's fine. Now you've learnt the holographic breathing, it's fine. And it's good to have the legs out straight and the arms out straight. So lying down is quite good for this. Or at least be in a relaxed chair where you can splay out. Now we're going to change from flapping. We're not just going to pull up the front of the feet, we're going to pull up from the heels as well, so it tightens at the front of the legs, tightens at the back of the legs. Breathing in, the feet are flattening on the in-breath. Then on the out-breath, the feet are relaxing and cupping. In-breath, the feet opening, flattening. Breathing out, the feet are relaxing and they'll cup slightly. Notice how you get a much more physical, whole body breath and how this connects to your diaphragm. You get a deep, long, slow breath in the diaphragm. Your breath, it kind of doubles in length and depth. Breathing out, long rising of the diaphragm. And the same is with the hands opening and flattening on the in-breath. The hands relaxing and cupping on the out-breath. And this will come directly into the chest, through the shoulders. Feet more works up from the ground up. The hands come in more at heart level, and then the jaw is at the level of the skull and higher energies. 3 different energy systems, 3 different energies. Breathing out. Notice how this leads you to a whole body breathing. All of your muscles, all of your bones, through your whole body, and let that go through your neck, through your cranium, through your face. You have to let go of the brain to let that moving breath breathe the skull. We are what's in the way. We have to let go of ourselves. The brain and skull start breathing. You can feel this very physical breath from the movement of the feet, hands and jaw through the whole structures of our body, a breathing physical breath that connects to the earth and connects to the divine energies, but it's a physical thing. It's like pulley systems. Moving the body, the lungs open. Moving the body, the lungs close. Lungs and abdomen opening. Lungs and abdomen closing. So be aware of that, the musculature, the bones through the whole body, through the cranium, through the spine, works through your whole spine. The spine is moving with every breath. You have to let go of your neck. You have to allow it to transcend through your neck and operate through the face and cranium. You have to allow it to connect to the higher self through the top of the cranium into the divine realms. And as it's going through the cranium, we're going to change modality, moving from the cranium into the brain. Notice how everything changes. Hands and feet, it's like you lose contact almost with this movement through the hands and feet. It becomes much more subtle as you become aware of your brain and how the brain is connecting to the breath. And in the face or in the lower face, it changes from the jaw to the tongue, and you become aware of the tongue and the organs, the lungs. Notice once you become aware of the brain, then you become aware of the tongue and the different organs of the face, the lungs, the heart, the digestion, the organs. Once you become aware of the brain, the whole vagus nerve system lights up. All of the organs become accessible. Notice you moved into a new domain, into a new energy. It's much softer. It's of a different place. And notice there's a karma to it. Notice how this somehow transcends through all of our lifetimes. There's a magic to it. There's like a hidden teaching here. There's a teaching, seems to be kept secret or just not known about. The breath work of holographic breathing and the organs and their energies. Notice the organs in the abdomen. Notice your intestines. Notice the quality, and dropping down into the pelvis and become aware of the rectum. And notice when you become aware of the rectum and the sphincter muscles, there's this dialogue between the rectum, between the sphincter muscle in the rectum and the brain. This energy releases upwards through a central column, through the brain, through the body, through the brain, and up into the higher self. There's this Kundalini that rises from the rectum. Kundalini rises from all of the sexual organs, but the rectum is different because it houses all of the channels, it houses all of the organs, it houses the brain. And just keep letting that energy release from the rectum and allowing that to rise through the body, through the brain, and into the higher self, higher consciousness, the divine realms. You are talking to the divine realms, and they will start talking back to you. We're learning to talk to the beyond, to the divine. And it starts off as this Kundalini lighting up through the brain, this strong energy lighting up through the brain. But the more you do this, it also in a very slow way starts transforming through the whole digestion, through all of the organs. There are two different energies there. Allowing the rectum to release, allowing the organs, allowing that to release right up through the brain and up into the higher self. The rectum is hidden, which somehow ashamed, or it's dirty, or it's rude. That's one of the ways it's stayed hidden. But notice the quality of that energy. Letting the rectum release, letting that move through your brain. The rectum nestles into the sacrum. You can allow those energies from the rectum to move into the sacrum. And as you come into the sacrum, notice how this opens this more physical, deeper breath in the hands, feet, through all of the bones, through all of the muscles, through the spine. And notice how the energies from the sacrum rise up through the bones of the spine and through the bones of the face and cranium, and then connect to the higher self, but through the bones. And there's this physical motion of the breath, like a pulley system or cranes, physically moving the breath through the whole body, physically connecting up into the higher self, physically connecting. But the sacrum, very much to do with this movement in the hands and feet. Notice, if you just become aware of the sacrum, how it starts kind of becoming quite a bright light. Sacred sacrum. There's something sacred about the sacrum. Bright white energy. It does relate to the bones, but also notice there's a bright light there that also releases through the brain and up into the higher self. There's a reality to the sacrum. Sacrum connects to all of the organs, all of the energy systems. As they start merging, the sacrum turns into this blistering white light. It shines up through your body, through your head, connects to the divine realms. And it's nice to allow that to melt through the spine, which will give it somewhat of a grounding, and through the arms and legs, which will also give it a grounding. So it's this very high energy of the sacrum, but it's connected to this deep, slow, breathing motion of the arms and legs that grounds it. Connected to earth, connected to the divine. You can allow that to start healing your spine, healing your brain, healing your cranium. And it will start dying down. There's a rush of the accumulated energies that come with a bit of a rush. And then as it soothes out, it becomes a bit easier. You have to allow the neck to relax, maybe drop the chin slightly so the energies can move through the neck. And moving forwards from the sacrum into the rectum. The rectum nestles into the sacrum. As soon as you come into the rectum, notice this new Kundalini rising in a softer way. It's not of the bones and muscles. And notice how the movement of the hands and feet become much softer. It rises up through the eyes. The eyes are the brain for the face. It rises up through the brain. And you can let the organs start absorbing some of that bright light from the rectum. They will ground it, they will balance it, and start releasing the different qualities, different energies of the different organs. It brings a whole new internal reality to life. The hidden secrets of Tantra, of the Kundalini, of holographic breathing. It's not hidden on purpose, it is just somehow behind a gate, and a lot hidden behind shame and sexuality and our image of the rectum. But once we start getting a feel for that energy and the reality and the bright light, everything changes. Our perception of that area changes from a physical reality to a spiritual and energetic reality. You can deeply heal your own rectum. After a while, that'll also rise up into your colon, and you can start healing your colon, and it will bit by bit work through all of the digestive tract, all of the organs, the lungs, the heart, the brain, the face, the eyes, the tongue, the sinuses. And breathe. And as we move back and forth between the sacrum and rectum, notice in a very subtle way as that happens, we're starting to get a communication from the organs to the spine and from the spine to the organs. Becoming aware of the sacrum, becoming aware of the rectum and its communication to the sacrum, we can allow ourselves, our energies to move from the rectum into the sacrum. Notice how you get this deep breath through the hands, feet, through the diaphragm as you move back into the bones and muscles. And the organs, not just the rectum, starts getting a relationship with the spine. All of the organs start relating to the spine, maybe slowly and small parts, but we are opening a door here. We are opening the door of consciousness between the autonomic nervous system and the somatic nervous system, between unconsciousness and consciousness, and that brings a whole part to us and connects us to the divine and the beyond and the movement forwards of the human race to a new level of consciousness, to a new level of understanding, to a new level of being. We become new beings. We start working in a new way. That was not seen starts to be seen, and our place in the universe starts to unfold. We start to wake up. We become part of the higher self. We become part of the divine realms. Notice how grounding that is, the organs communicating with the spine. Notice how that starts grounding that bright light. There's a deep, profound knowledge and healing arts here. A whole healing realm and understanding of new way of being. Being aware of your spine, being aware of the organs. Allow that to rise into the brain. Being aware of the brain, being aware of the cranium, being aware of the tongue, being aware of the jaw, being aware of the sinuses and eyes and the maxilla, bringing these two hemispheres of ourself together. Very soft, gentle motion of the hands and feet. Let your neck relax, the chin might want to drop a bit. There's the possibility of a divine healing, but you have to relax your throat, your neck. The throat is of the autonomic nervous system, the neck and spine of the somatic nervous system. Allow them both to relax and communicate. Allow the energies from the body to rise up to the face and cranium, and the energies of the face and cranium to descend. And as you let go of the neck, the spine in the neck, the trachea, the esophagus, starts creating this energy channel between the body, the brain, the face, and the higher self. Allow those energies to rise into the higher self. You may feel a releasing from the whole pelvic floor, from the genitalia, from the rectum, from the sacrum, releasing as that highway is opened. There's a recognition from the sacrum that it can let go of those energies. They can rise through the neck, they can rise through the face and head, they can depart up into the higher self. Our sexual energies change from procreation to divine blessings and evolution. Gently breathing, letting the whole pelvic floor release, letting those energies rise into the beyond, through the brain and into the beyond. And there's the divine principle answering. Notice a much softer presence descending into the field around you, into your body, through your cells, a soft touch from the beyond, from the divine, very gentle but deeply profound. It will change everything. We are no longer alone. We are part of the divine. And breathe. Just letting that communication from the divine, from the beyond, and breathe. We're going to come back in about a minute. And sending a thank you to the earth. Sending a thank you to the higher self. Sending a thank you to the divine realms and beneficial energies. And letting the energies go off for love and healing to the earth, for love and healing to the higher self and the divine realms. Allowing yourself to be loved and healed. Allowing the energies to go out to all sentient beings for love and healing. And you are a sentient being, allowing yourself to be loved and healed. And when you feel ready, gently allowing yourself to come back. Okay, so waving your hands if you enjoyed that. No, pretty well everyone enjoyed that. Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. All right, well, if you want to take that into more depth, come and join us next Sunday. There's that connection in the comments. You can go to that link and you can join us where we go into far more depth, and we will be spending a whole year just clearing all of our organs. And we spent a year going through all of the organs, and we kind of come to the end and we're starting again, but we're starting on a new level. We learned a lot in the last year. We really cleared a lot of karma. We've worked with all of the organs, but now we've gone in a spiral. So we come back to the beginning, but we're a bit higher. We're starting with a new bit. It's spiraling up, and we're going to be working in depth with this transcendental understanding and communication, and working with these higher energies. That's where I get my information from, the teaching here. I asked them to do that beforehand, because it's not going to work unless they come in and do some healing. So I asked for that, especially when we start, and they communicate back. And, they come in the sessions as a healing energy, as a teaching. And the teaching goes beyond me anyway. So that is all there. I'll be running another one of these in about a month, but it's well worth coming along to these Sundays in between. and doing it in more depth and more profoundly. And there's something about giving something back, paying for the sessions, that takes it into more depth, or just the energies being given back and forth makes a difference. So that is there. There's a family there of people who have been doing this for quite a while, and a lot of those people come every Sunday and just enjoying this ongoing unfolding journey. She's been teaching webinars for about 6 years, and it's just gone and gone. We haven't repeated anything. It's just kept unfolding with new material each Sunday, and hopefully that will go on for quite some time. Anyway, so there are those. I will also be starting a practitioner training. I don't know what to do yet, but I think that will be a transmission, in that people will connect to the energies that will help them teach holographic breathing.